Today's agenda is going to cover a little bit about what Apple said in AI, and we're going to talk about the top 50 A16 list. A16 is Andreessen Horowitz, which is a venture capital firm out of the Bay Area, and they've done some analysis on websites for AI and apps for AI, and they had a very interesting article, and I posted a link to the article in Tech Explorer, but I'll go over it a little bit today. So what Apple introduced is something called OpenELM, stands for Open Source Efficient Language Models. So Apple didn't necessarily develop all of this themselves. It looks like it's a Cornell University developed model, but they're participating in it and investing heavily in it. And there are actually 8 separate large language models that exist as part of this Open ELM, and it's optimized for what they call on-device use. So that kind of tells us that Apple's direction is going to be to incorporate AI on our phones and tablets and Macs that depend very less on the cloud for their functionality and capability. And there's a link here to the article, but I am going to share the article with you. And if you're technical enough, feel free to read it because it's very, very complicated. This is the OpenELM article that was introduced by Apple, and they talk about OpenELM versus existing LLMs. They have offered some pre-training. They give you weights, they give you model sizes, they give you pre-training tokens. They talk about average accuracy compared to others that are out there. And they will give you as much technical information as you would like to have about the models if you are into AI models, and parameters they've done and benchmarks they've used for tasking with it and how they evaluated it and experimental results they've got. So you show how it ranks relative to other open source language models. Llama is Facebook's open source model, and they have a mobile Llama that's designed to run on devices, but they also have a server-based Llama that exists. So there are some tools there that are available just for fun. You can learn an awful lot about Apple models and what they're doing if you feel like getting that technical about it. But the trend and the analysis by everybody has been in anticipation that they are going to incorporate whatever AI functionality they launch in iOS 18 is going to be incorporated for primarily for on-device use as opposed to language models like ChatGPT or Claude or others that tend to run on servers. Okay. They say they're pretty efficient and they've trained them to do a lot of things already. So, any questions about what's coming up from Apple at all? Because this just happened a few days ago. Okay. The other thing I want to show you today and spend most of our time on is what Andreessen Horowitz came out with called the top 100 generative AI consumer apps. Okay, there are some apps that are made strictly for enterprises. These are the ones that consumers can get access to. They include most of the popular ones. And we'll take a look at this list that I've got from the article that I can share with you in my browser. So this is the article that Andreessen Horowitz introduced, and we'll go through a few things. But they gave a really good analysis of top 50 web AI tools, top 50 mobile tools, and then some analysis. But I wanted to just briefly share a little bit about the article with you, so that if you're interested in going to it, you understand what it involves. It's really something interesting they're doing that's communicating more. Now, here's some shortcuts for the article. This is by the top 50 generative AI web products. These are only available on the web, but they might have an app, but these are their web versions, and they rank them by unique monthly visits. And I'll tell you, the data says that ChatGPT has 5 times more unique monthly visits, meaning an individual user went in and it's, and was a different user went in and used it. They have 5 times more unique monthly visits than Gemini, which is the runner up. Character AI, which is a conversation with a character, is actually number 3 in terms of its visits. But then you've got a few like Liner and Poe, and Perplexity, which is fairly well known, Claude, which is fairly well known, Veed.io, which we took a look at, 11 Labs, Hugging Face, Leonardo, Midjourney, and a few others like you. We'll take a look at a few of these that I thought would be interesting to help you get a sense of what's out there and where they look at and what they can do. Okay. Mobile apps are a little bit different. Okay, so Microsoft Edge fits into the mobile app category. Photomath is a popular math tool for people to use because you can actually snap a picture of a math problem and it'll help you solve the math problem for you. So it's used a lot by students. There are some photo apps here like Remove It. Bing falls into the mobile, a couple of others that help you do facial changes on photographs and other tools like that. Character AI is number 16. But one of the interesting figures they came out with is that people that use character AI and other types of character AI tools are spending an average of 2 hours a day using those tools. So it's becoming as popular as social media. The average social media usage in the United States is about 2.5 hours a day. And so using something like this for 2 hours a day is pretty significant for any type of application. Okay. They're being developed all over the world. You can say that a lot of things are happening, obviously, in North America, but they're happening in other places around here, Northern Europe. But Turkey is becoming a good spot for app development. India, China, Singapore, Malaysia, Australia. So we're seeing apps being developed and available all over the world. This is a global industry, and they're keeping track of this. This is all available on the article, and you can drill into it more on the article if you want to. So let me take a look at some tools here I've got that I brought up. So the Andreessen Horowitz organizes things by categories, and there are some interesting things that are out there now that I've set up in different tabs here. So one of the ones that I wasn't sure about was Liner AI. Okay, so what we're seeing is tools like Liner coming out that are using ChatGPT AI, but they're coming up with ways to make it easier for you to do things that you might not always think about doing with ChatGPT's chat prompt. So they have a quick start function summarizing text or a web page or even a YouTube video. So summarization, you can summarize documents, Word, PDF, PowerPoint, etc. And they have some examples here. So you could take a look at comparing two academic articles. And we could click to try this and see what it'll do. So it's going to give us some examples. It has 2 articles, one on multisensory inclusive design from Cognitive Search Journal, and another article. And it's going to solve and come up with some steps automatically. It's going to come up with answers because basically the prompts are predefined. Okay, so it'll come up with things and talk about similarities between the articles, differences between the articles, and other aspects that you might, and you can continue with the prompt if you want to. You have a chat box here that gives you the capability to use it. So that's one thing you can do. Okay. So if we want to look at some other tools, we can explore what they call agents. And they have agents that will give you the ability to generate images, provide more in-depth answers, provide other types of tools that are available for you. So they're essentially creating a front end to the AI. So that's one of the reasons why they're popular, is because they give you access to these types of tools that you can get resources for and get some information about if you want to use them. And you can add agents. An agent will be basically a tool that gives you answers in a particular format. And they have some professional tools as well for add-ons. They're about $150 a year for a pro account. So you can basically, these are going to give you essentially tools where you don't have to think about how to write a prompt. It can help you because it has the prompt already in existence that's going to help you generate whatever result you need for it. Okay, so it talks about summarizer. Summarization is pretty popular. And so it gives you the ability to access and use a variety of tools from it. So it's ranked pretty highly. It's very popular to use. They're showing that it's ranked number 4 in the A16 top AI product list. Okay, so if you want to learn more about it, why they are interested in doing it and using it. So it's a really popular consumer product. It's become very popular because of that capability, that it essentially solves a lot of the issues about trying to be a prompt engineer by having pre-defined prompts that work for you. So just an interesting tool. It's ranked number 4, and the reason is it really does a lot of good things for you. Okay, so any questions about Liner? Okay, and so some people may find a tool like Liner much easier to use than a tool like, ChatGPT or Gemini. It just depends on the prompting skills you want to develop and the agent, the tools that might give you some ability to think, oh, I hadn't thought about doing that with it, and getting a better understanding, and it structures the responses a little bit more than you would just get from a straight chat or Gemini or other open Claude type session. Okay. The next tool that is becoming popular is one by 11 Labs. It's been around for a little while, but they've got it even better. And I'm going to have to share something here where I have the ability to share my sound here. Let me see if I can make that work. So I'm going to share it. What I did was it's a generative voice AI that generates very natural sounding speech from text. And so we see a lot of these. 11 Labs is considered one of the most advanced ones out there because it has so many different languages that are available. So if you can transcribe something, you can get text, you can have it generated in different text speeches here, and you have different voices. So I just took a short excerpt from my webpage article on extensions, and I'm going to play this. I want to make sure it plays for you. So tell me if it doesn't, anybody, if it doesn't. So it should play, and you'll hear it from Daniel, and then we'll try changing some voices.
Extensions are add-ons that provide web browsers extra features beyond what they are originally designed to do. For example, ad blockers, password managers, and dark mode themes are all implemented as extensions but not included as standard in a web browser. The popular browsers, Chrome, Edge, Safari, and Firefox, include a lot of fine shit.
Okay, so the words cut off here. So but that's Daniel. Okay, I don't know whether it sounds better than me or not, but that's not a bad transcription, is it? Okay, so let's try another voice. Let's try Emily here. And it takes a few minutes to do because we're just using the sample here I don't have an account with 11 Labs. I actually use a tool from a company called TechSmith called Audiate that actually does.
Extensions are add-ons that provide web browsers extra features beyond what they are originally designed to do. For example, ad blockers, password managers, and dark mode themes are all implemented as extensions, but not included as standard in a web browser. The popular browsers Chrome, Edge, Safari, and Firefox include a lot of...
I'm not hearing anything. Am I the only one?
I think so. Carl, Elizabeth, you're hearing things? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The volume's
Yep,
working.
we're all hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank
So I'm going to copy this because I'm not sure what's going to happen when I go to Italian. Okay. I'm going to paste Italian.
Se sorridi quando nessun altro è nei paraggi, lo intendi davvero?
Now, I think if I have to translate it first, there is a way to translate it. I think if I do this and I click on Italian, I don't know if it's going to translate it. No, it's not going to translate it for me. But
Se si è fortunati, una singola
but it'll also give me Ukrainian. And each
Сни – це не те, що ти бачиш, коли спиш. Це те, що не дає тобі спати.
So a lot of people just need voice transcriptions. They don't need.
Сни – це не те, що ти бачиш, коли спиш, це те, що не дає тобі спати.
You can get different paces, different approaches. So what it's used is that it can give you voices with emotions. Okay, so let's try voices.
His eyes narrowed as he spoke. You sure this is the place, Finn? Finn smirked and took a swig from his mug. Trust me, Jareth. This time I've got it on good authority. The old fisherman from the dock spilled the beans. He leaned back, excitement gleaming in his eyes. It's like the gold is already ours.
That was all emotion generated by AI. You know, with giving it inflection, create more of a dramatic tool. Gaming, obviously, AI, you know, games, voices.
I guess that's what you get for playing with fire, isn't it? Or would you just say that this is fate playing against you?
Audiobook.
Chapter 1. An Unexpected Party. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole, filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with...
Yeah, Ronald, you have your hand up.
So, yes, I do. So let's say you wanted to use this with PowerPoint. You're giving a presentation, and rather than you reading your speaker's notes, how would you use this? In conjunct, I can see you doing this on these demos, but how would you actually use it in something like a PowerPoint?
Well, you would take the text that you have to have a script.
Okay.
Okay, so if you just have a PowerPoint, you may not have a readable script. You may just have bullet points or other types of things.
No, I'm thinking more with speaker notes. Let's say you have speaker notes.
Right. So if I go to, let me go to my website, Bobology here, and let's find an article here. What are megabits? And we take a little bit of this text here. Okay, say these are speaker notes. I want to copy and paste this. Let me try and get this working here. So I could get the whole thing. Okay, so I've got this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to 11 Labs, and I'm going to go back to English, and I'm going to paste.
The biggest room in the world is room for improvement.
Okay, I'll paste this in. Okay, so now I've got I've got some notes for a slide. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would just have to paste in my notes, my speaker notes. It's not going to complete it. It's not going to take, but you can actually use a combination of tools like ChatGPT and say, take this PowerPoint slide, speaker notes, and write a script from it that would be a good narration. So you could do it that way too. But this will narrate it. This will translate it into speech using Patrick's voice here. Okay, it takes a little bit because like I say, we're
You
using.
might have heard of the phrase the digital highway, which describes data movement across the internet. Moving digital data is similar to driving vehicles on the road in many ways. If you think of freeways, they have different sizes, shapes, and capacities.
Okay. So if you're doing a PowerPoint, you can take your audio and insert the audio into the slide, and it'll give you the audio automatically.
So you can say, you can now I see the download arrow there. You
Download
could
this,
save
right,
it.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get started for free to try it out, but if you want to, you have the ability to tune it. You have the ability to do, they have an on-screen text reader. They do it in 29 languages, and all kinds of accents and tones. And you can even clone your own voice. So if you get tired of talking, and you don't want to talk anymore, you want to record something, say you've written a script or something like that, you'd rather have it sound like it's from you, they have voice cloning capability as well. ElevenLabs is really well known for that capability.
Wow.
Okay, Joe, you got your hand up. Unmute, Joe.
Would you be able to use something like this with ebooks?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, if you have this is not a designed to be a reader of ebooks for you. There are tools within most ebooks that will do you, but if you do not have an audio version of a book,
Yeah.
you have the text version and you've written it yourself, you can come up with an audio version of the book.
Okay, but like a regular ebook that you get from Amazon or something like that.
They have well, you have a text to speech reader, but no, you don't have the audio book. You can't if it's I don't know what the limit is on importing material into this, Joe, as to how big a document you could import from text.
Okay.
But obviously with an ebook, you got to get the text out of it somehow.
Yeah.
So that's on Kindle or ebook pub formats, it's a little more difficult to do that. But if you can get the text, you can go from text to speech with almost anything. But there are also ebook reader tools that are out there for people with disabilities that need voice narration of a book.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Carol.
Do you have any that do translating, like, from Korean to American or whatever? And if you're going to cover it, I'll just wait.
Now, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot will all do translations for you.
And have you guys heard about, this is my area, Pikesville Senior, where one teacher actually did the AI of the principal saying horrible things and then they fired him. So and they went into this bad teacher's, computer, and he had already looked up AI, and I'm saying, oh, he can't do it. Maybe he can, because you're just showing us now.
Yeah. It's one of the things ElevenLabs is known for is this voice cloning capability that you can utilize to clone your voice in just minutes. You can basically you record shares portions of your voice, and you can listen to the voices they've had, cloned and things like that. So here's Finn, Irish, male. Finn.
As a proud native of Ireland, I bring a robust Irish accent to your storytelling, perfect for capturing the spirit of Irish tales, folklores, or simply adding an authentic Celtic touch to your projects.
Now, I haven't tried the voice cloning capability, but you can do it with just a few minutes of audio, and it works on short samples. So if you're interested in having something of your own voice doing the narration, it's really one of the best tools around there. That's why ElevenLabs is so popular, because it does voice cloning capabilities, and there aren't that many out there. It's considered about the best out there in terms of cloning your own voice. And to do it, you'd basically click on clone. You have to sign up for an account, and you get a little bit for free, but then you have to purchase if you want more. And so it's not incredibly expensive, I think, to sign up for 11 Labs. Let's take a look at their pricing. So even at free gives you 10,000 characters a month, which is about 10 minutes of audio. But it doesn't include voice cloning. $1 a month at a discount, it's a $5 a month plan. It's designed for hobbyists, give you 30 minutes of video a month, but you can clone your voice, and you have access to what's called the dubbing studio. That's how they get their drama and timing and other things like that. You can use it for commercial use. And for about $11 a month, if you're doing 2 hours of audio a month, which is more than adequate for a lot of people, you can do a lot of work with it, and be able to create a lot of information. It's $22 a month, but they're really incredibly powerful tools to be able to do things. Now, this doesn't give you an avatar. This is strictly text to speech. But if you're using it for narrating still photos or doing other things like that, or providing a speech or audiobook or a character voice, it's really very effective for those types of tools, those types of uses. There are things like Synthesia and others that will completely animate and do a text to voice animated character, that's possible to do. And if we have time today, maybe I can show you those. But 11 Labs, that's one of the reasons why it's popular. Okay. Now, Janitor and Character AI are two AI character relationship type of conversation. So you can basically have a conversation with a character. A lot of popular characters are from fantasy, anime, other things like that. But there are ones that are popular in different areas, like trending. We can take a look. Some people can be different characters that you might want. You have conversations with a male or female character, and they have different prompt characters that give people a little bit of background. And some are filtered and some are unfiltered. Okay, so Janitor AI is kind of an unfiltered. It may be politically incorrect and it may not be sensitive to all types of things. And so you'll get something that's like a female, fictional, submissive, angst, fluff, and you'll get other types of characters that are, dominant. You'll get people that enjoy having very odd conversations with characters that are something that you can look at. So there's just a lot of different ways you can get into these and do it. But Janitor AI is a little more game oriented. Let me try and find a character AI. It's a little more personalized, and I showed it once before, where it's types of people where you can have a conversation with Steve Jobs, for example, and characters have a voice now. You can try it with a voice and you can listen to them talk back to you. So here's what should Apple do with AI, and here's Steve Jobs coming back about what he thinks Apple ought to do with AI. You can have conversations with tutors. You can have conversations with fictional characters, with historical characters, whatever you can even create a character, create a voice, and the discovery area. You can practice interviews, you can write stories, you can try saying things in different and if you're not happy with any of the characters, it gives you the ability to create your own character. So here's Elon Musk, that you can have some conversations with. What do you think about Jeff Bezos? He said, Elon Musk, you're wasting my time. I literally rule the world. So it's taking people have created personalities for different characters so that you can have a conversation with them by using these types of tools. So people are spending a lot of time. This is when I mentioned that with these character and janitor AI, these conversational, what they're called companion AI tools. People that use them are using them an average of about 2 hours a day. So they're extremely popular in an area where people are deciding that having a conversation with an AI is in many cases more engaging and rewarding than having conversations with real people. So just a trend that is starting to develop out there. Okay. Leonardo AI. I know Joe's probably familiar with Leonardo. He's always doing a lot more with visual, but Leonardo is popular because I've learned it's one of the popular AI graphic tools because it can create a lot of different types of images with and it responds more sophisticated to different prompts. So it's great for marketing tools, graphic design, print on demand, photography, interior design, and architecture. So if you're wondering what it might do in architecture, it can create renderings of buildings like this. So if you're an architect, instead of building a model or having an artist do it, you can actually get architecture generator tools to get mock-ups or product mock-ups or other things that you might be interested. It has a lot of professional graphics using it, and they've got some video capabilities as well that exist, but they have very photorealistic tools that can develop photos that look like they're a real person in a real environment. And so a lot of advertisers, a lot of agencies are using this because it saves them on the time to hire a performer. It gives them more rapid. A lot of companies are using tools that like these for internal communications so that they don't have to hire, videographers or photographers in a studio or something like that. But and Leonardo adds a little bit more capability in terms of being able to give people image generation that will do things that give you the ability. And they can create short videos. So let's see if it'll generate a short video here or not. It looks like I have to sign in and be able to do that. But we're seeing more video created for fictional characters and other types of things that are available and used by people for a lot of resources. So it's just becoming a very popular feature for people to utilize, a popular app for AI image generation because they are popular with professionals that want to do things that are for graphic artistry and other things. So art generator, transparent PNG type graphics. You can see they're very geared towards professional graphic artists, professional designers. You can see if their video generator will give me anything. So you can see here's an example of a video that it generates where it's great for, it's 4-second videos. It's really good for that. The AI and art generator capability, it'll show you different things for if you want background images or other types of images, and it has a lot of styles and artistic expression that are really good for professional graphic designers that want to be able to use it. So it's one of the tools to look at if you're more interested in graphics. It helps you by saving a lot of time trying to figure out the prompt engineering you might need to do. Now, Adobe's done a lot of things with Firefly. They're integrating a lot of AI tools in Photoshop as well to keep pace with a lot of these things. And Adobe's opened up their video editing tool to be able to allow people to use AI video generators other than Adobe. So Adobe makes a very popular Premiere tool for doing professional video editing. And they now have the ability for OpenAI or for tools like Sora and other video generated tools to be able to plug in as well. Okay. The other thing that's starting to happen is that we're seeing AI tools. U is on the list of the A16 as a tool. It's essentially a kind of pre-formatted type of prompt tool, so that if you're not real good at prompt engineering, these tools like U and Liner and the Leonardo, they're kind of helping to solve the problems of knowing too much about prompt engineering. So they have a couple of modes. They have a smart mode, they have a genius mode, they have a GPT-4 mode, because basically they're using GPT-4. They have a research mode, they have a create mode for creative. So smart mode is you can ask it anything. Okay, so you can say, what is this about the TikTok ban? You can ask it anything. Okay, so I could say, why did Facebook stock drop today? Okay. And I don't know what'll come up with an answer. I haven't used this that much before, but we'll find out. And it's Perplexity will give you information as well like this, but it also is going to reference sources that it tells you. So it says it dropped today due to a combination, negative impact on the Wall Street Journal's Facebook files. Here's a reference to this article. Here's a reference to a link. Here's a reference to a link. So it's a little more personalized from that type of thing. And it shows you the sources that it used: Motley Fool, USA Today, CNBC. Not a bad answer. We can give it some feedback. Okay, so it's good feedback. And AI relies a lot on feedback for improvements, but it also gives you some prompts that you may want to ask about capabilities here. Are there concerns about user engagement, change in leadership, competitors, new features? So U is a service that's designed to give you the ability to ask questions and have a dialogue. It has a genius mode as well. So if I could say, what is the history of Toronto? Because I know some people probably know that. And we'll see what it gives us as an answer for that. It's thinking, it's researching. So it has the ability to go off and do a little more research than you might consider something like ChatGPT or Gemini or others. Gemini is going to do a search. This is going to tell us a little bit about the history of it and the settlement and how it was European exploration, some information, some sources. So it's going to give us sources. It's on where it gets this information from, and where it's pulling the data from. And then it will probably give us some other questions that we might want to consider asking about something here. So it's a structured type of tool, as opposed to just using a generic Gemini or a generic ChatGPT. You can get these kinds of results out of them, but there are the structure of it gives you the ability to get a little more functionality that you might want to look at otherwise. And so U gives you that capability to do them. You can upload files, you can ask finance questions, you can get coding done. So Genius Mode is designed to solve multi-step problems, including file uploads. It'll tell us about, you can just use ChatGPT with a little bit of enhancement from U.com AI. You can do research to conduct in-depth analysis or comparisons, and it's got a create mode. So it's kind of simplifying the prompting tool that you use. If we go to upgrade to U Pro, what it's doing is they've got unlimited premium query. So GPT-4 from OpenAI and Gemini and Copilot all are charging about $40 or $20 a month, excuse me, 20 a month. So U is aggregating several AI models, GPT-4, Claude 3, Gemini Pro, Zephyr, and others. And it gives you a little more personalized response, and it's $20 a month. So rather than what we're starting to see is this thing called AI aggregators. And U is an AI aggregator that gives you the ability to access more than one AI model. Yes, you can specifically ask for ChatGPT, but it might use some other models to get things. And it's less expensive per month if you sign up yearly than a ChatGPT Pro subscription or Gemini or a Copilot subscription. So because they're taking advantage of some of the other models that are priced a little bit differently, they're giving you some capability to access different approaches for it. Now, that's just one aggregator. Another one that's very popular is Poe. And Poe, instead of GPTs, which are what ChatGPT calls them, they call their extensions are called bots. Okay, so they have bots that are things like a Python bot, Excel formulas, Mr. Teacher, web search, Claude Sonnet, Haiku, GPT-4 that don't strictly, but they actually use multiple tools besides ChatGPT-4. They give you the ability to subscribe and use GPT-4, Claude 3, etc. And again, it's a little bit lower than in price than the ChatGPT Direct, Gemini Direct, and Copilot Direct subscriptions. And you have access to a lot of resources as well. So there are just a tremendous number of advice bots, mind bots, character bots. So they've incorporated a lot of these things here. So if you're looking for translation tools, I mean, ChatGPT and Gemini and others will do translation. Microsoft Word will do translation if you have a 365 subscription. Google Docs will do translation as well. But you have a lot of functionalities that basically are structured types of approaches. So if you're looking at doing something like a essay writer or a book writer or other types of writers, or you want to get a YouTube summary, we're seeing them start to incorporate a lot of these capabilities that you can go into role-playing bots, game, humor, etc. So there's just a lot of expansion that's taking place in the world of AI from that standpoint in terms of tools that you can use, that you aren't just limited to ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot or Claude. You can really utilize some of these other tools like Poe and U to get access to a lot of different models simultaneously, and sometimes for a slightly lower cost as well. So I wanted to make people aware of those types of tools. Now, from the standpoint of the Andreessen Horowitz, issues, there's just a lot of top 50 AI tools. These are mobile apps. Mobile apps are sometimes only available in mobile, whereas websites sometimes also have both apps and websites as well. So we're starting to see a lot of things starting to show up more and more as both mobile, but the mobile sometimes may have a little bit slightly different types of resource. And you'll see sometimes as well, particularly on the mobile app space, you'll see ones like this 14. The logo looks an awful lot like the ChatGPT official logo, but technically this is not ChatGPT. This is not OpenAI. It's another app from a third party that is basically trying to get you to use them, and they might be good, but instead of, you're not using, they say powered by ChatGPT in their App Store description. So you'll find them, lots of times using logos that resemble ChatGPT's logo, but they are not the official OpenAI app. So just be aware of that. They're referred to by Andreessen Horowitz as, they call them fleeceware, FLEECE, fleeceware, because they're a little bit deceptive. They're using a logo and a name like, chat or bot or something like that, and trying to, convince people that they're open AI when in fact they are not. But they're usually also a very good tools in many ways too. But take advantage of the article that I have on Tech Explorer Committee and my Bob's Updates. I have it there, with the link to the article. And obviously, if you want to look at it from the link in the presentation, it'll give you some help tool. So I want to take a sip of coffee and open up for any questions we've got. I just wanted to show you some of the new tools that are coming out with AI as we go through an evolution and getting more sophisticated over time.
Oh, let me see.
Go ahead, Carol. Thank you.
So now you're making me all worried because I know every time something updates, more thingies pop out like the Chat GPT or something's connected now to my cell. I don't know who it. I have an Android, so you probably know. All of a sudden now there's a AI feature. So now you got me all scared. If they have these imposters, then I can't trust any of that stuff that pops up.
Well, if you're using Chrome, and Google Labs is got Gemini incorporated into Chrome. So when you do a Google search in Chrome, or even with any Google search, you'll get an AI generated search result. That's Google doing it. But if you go to the Google Play Store and you install an AI app, make sure you know who it's made by. Okay, there's ChatGPT, which is made by OpenAI, and some of these others may look like they're ChatGPT, but they aren't really made by OpenAI. They aren't the OpenAI official app. OpenAI says we're the OpenAI official app, but you.com and Poe.com are also very reputable organizations and reputable apps. It's not like these apps are gonna mess you up or anything like that. It's just that they're impersonating a little bit of Chat GPT to kind of convince you, oh, you're going to get Chat GPT. You're not getting pure Chat GPT. It's like getting Coca-Cola and New Coke. You're getting New Coke didn't go over very well because it didn't quite have the flavor of the original. But you could also get Pepsi, and some people don't mind the difference and they find them both very acceptable. Some people buy the store brand cola, and that's okay. So it's not like these are bad applications. It's just that if you are looking for the original OpenAI ChatGPT, make sure you look for, it says it's the one by OpenAI, the official OpenAI app.
Hey, Bob, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So the reputation of these different AI tools and what they are, professing to do, and how people work their way into using them, and then you become habitually using a certain app or tool that you like a lot. What about tools that are predatory or upselling, and they're trying to, keep a hold of you even though they're not offering of much value? Is there a way to differentiate, or is there a rating, or what's the reputation of different apps or tools or bots compared to just they're all the same, they're all quality, they're all good?
Well, it's all going to start with the AI model that something is built on. Okay, so ChatGPT is made by OpenAI, Gemini is made by Google, Copilot from Microsoft uses technology from OpenAI. So that's the base level that you're going to be looking at. Some of the apps just give you some additional features in order to access AI models. You saw Claude as well. So those AI models are really the core technology that you're accessing. You can go to Claude directly. You can go to Chat, GPT and set up an OpenAI account directly. They have free accounts as well as paid.
But how do you know which ones to trust? Because these could get into my system, they could get into my information. How do I know which ones I can trust and use on a regular basis going forward?
Well, the app stores are going to do security checks before they're downloadable as apps on smartphones and mobile devices. From that standpoint, and the AI tools are all web-based, and so you're going to be using them through browsers. If you use them through a browser, your browser will have security, and you'll have antivirus and anti-malware protection on your computer. Apple goes through and Google go through fairly rigorous reviews of apps before they're made available for download on the app stores. And if they discover there's any security flaws or information that the app will access that they're not allowed to, they'll prevent them from getting listed on the store. And
okay, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, Apple has they both have rigor. The app review process is pretty strict, and your computer is going to protect you from malicious software with its own built-in malicious software tools.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Carl.
Basically, I've been reading a couple of difficult books lately because just it interests me. One is on the future of the internet, which I read, and I go through it and I get stuck. I get stuck on what the heck does he mean on this page? Usually, and up till now, I skip it and I go to the next page, and then again, and there's a concept there. What does he mean by that? I don't know. Now I use AI to get through my books, some of my hard books. Without AI, I won't get through the books. And then sometimes when I read a chapter and I just don't understand the chapter that well, I ask AI, on this book by this person, he says da 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 da. Can you explain that to me? And bango, it might not be 100, but it's 85% reasonable based on what I read. And then sometimes I find a mistake. It just can't be what he said is right, that 15%. And I say, are you sure about this? And then he gives me back an answer that is much more logical, that I either accepted or he took my side. Sometimes he takes my side. Yes, right. I think I see your point on that. I can't get through these books. The other thing is I'm using it for technology all the time.
Yeah.
I don't understand things that are happening in my computers, my tablets, my phone, and it's telling me, what's happening.
And you can have a dialogue with it. If you don't find the answer is clear, you can ask it, well, that sounds too complicated. Can you make it simpler for me? Or can you write it in terms can you give me an analogy for it that would be something that would be easier to understand? You can have a dialogue with an AI that you can't have with a search tool.
And as far as Steve's comment there about trusting, I use Copilot and Gemini all the time, but I interact. I use them both. And sometimes if I'm still not sure of what they said, I'll ask the same question to the other side. And sometimes the other side puts in another sentence or two that got the point,
Yeah. Because you're trusting Microsoft and Google. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And you don't really need to go anywhere else if you don't want to. It's just that some of the tools can give you some additional.
Oh, they're way ahead of me, Bob. Just those two are I don't even want to look at anything else.
Okay. Yeah, Joe. Hi.
Hi. Just to expand on what you were telling Carl, one of the things that you can do is when you ask for an answer, if you don't understand something, you can ask it to explain it to you as if it's explaining something to a high school student or a sixth grader or something like that, and put it in terms that they would understand. And it's very good at doing that kind of thing, especially with complex ideas and things. You can ask it for information concerning the way the world is put together with atomic you know, atoms and all that kind of good stuff, and it'll explain it to a first grader if you want it to. And it does a real good job at that. So, you know, you may want to try that in your prompt if you're having difficulty with a section. Not that you're a first grader, Carl, you know, but you can go with any level that you feel like. You know, you're not an expert, neither am I, and I've done that on several occasions. And I usually go
Wait a
with
sec,
sixth grade.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, you don't really have to do that, because I've noticed that when I don't understand it, and I just ask him, can you explain the sentence that you just said? And why did you say this and this? And I don't have to do that. It comes back to me and just opens it up and explains it even better.
Yeah, I just go right to the source. I say, give it to me as a sixth grader, and
Well, that's
I can
because you're in
usually
sixth
understand
grade
it
still.
I can usually understand it the first time around. I don't have to ask for
Yeah.
any clarification.
Yeah.
I use sixth grade because in the United States, the publications that the government makes have to fit to the standard of a sixth grade reading level.
Reading level, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So that's why I use the number
And
sixth
some of
grade.
the tools and what you're talking about with kind of, I mean, some of the AIs will start to remember a little bit about your prompt, a dialogue with in a specific chat session. So if you have a back and forth in a specific chat dialogue,
Yeah.
it'll remember. If you can say, hey, can you make that? Can you explain that? It'll understand through that chat dialogue that it needs to explain things more to you the next time you ask it a question in that chat session. But if you start a new chat, it's starting all over again. Whereas
Yeah.
I think some of the tools like you and Poe and others have more of a user memory that they retain, that give you the ability to kind of customize them for what you want to do and how you, and it gets to know what you're looking for more all the time as well.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. My gosh, it's 3:33 already. Wow. That went fast.
It did.
Yep. Okay. So anybody else have any comments or questions before we wrap up?
Good presentation.
Hey.
Open our eyes to some more interesting things.
You know, it's limitless
It's
what we'll
incredible.
find, you know,
Yeah.
coming up these days. But it's there's always something new, and just wanted to make you aware of that. That A16 newsletter was one of the best things I really found that were give you a lot of resources. You can go and on the web page for the newsletter, and it has links to all of all 100 of the AI tools that they've listed as well. So, you know, you can have fun exploring them if you want to. Okay.
Just real quick, put in a plug for that beautiful wall hanging behind Joe there that he created with artificial intelligence as an award-winning. Look at that. That's
Great.
amazing.
Well, you're not really looking at me live right now, actually. This is an avatar that I created, Ronald.
I thought you did a very good job. The voice, it sounds so much like you, but next time we're going to have to do that captcha thing to make sure you have to prove to a computer that you're human.
That's right. That's right. We'll have to do that sometime. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Very
you,
good.
everybody.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks
Take
for
care,
coming.
everybody.
I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.